So I don't know any of the radio stations around here, and I don't got anybody with me, and so that makes me bored as shit. Therefore, hello everybody. I got my phone. It's a Windows phone. God help me. But it works alright. It's got a nice size screen. Phone mount I bought for it's not that great, you know, but hey, what can you do for $3? So I got everything duct taped to the dashboard. That's why you're looking at me from this angle, but I'm actually okay with this angle. But yeah, as long as you can hear me alright, which I think you can, because the speakers on these Windows phones are pretty good. Thing is, I'm currently driving at about 80 miles an hour along the Pennsylvania Turnpike. So I think I'll be in Columbus in about 3 hours at this rate. No, maybe not. No, I'll be at the next destination, according to my TomTom, the next little direction I gotta go, whatever that's gonna be. I actually have 450 something miles before I get to Columbus. According to this, I should be there by 5 p.m. Ah, shit. Of course, at the speed I'm going, maybe not. Maybe not. But, you know, that's okay. I figured I was going to be on the road all day today. That's not a big deal. Tuesday, I figured, was going to be the drive day. The ultimate destination is Chicago. So, it's not that big of a deal. I'm actually driving through what a lot of people call Pennsylvania. It's really nice. I mean, it's nice farmland and everything. I drove past this one place called Valley Forge. That was pretty nice. But I got my DSLR camera. It's a Canon SL1 Rebel. I got that duct taped to a really cheap, shitty mount that I bought. But I got it duct taped to the dashboard. But it's not at a very good angle. I was going to kind of record the road as I was driving out of Philadelphia, but it you know, as soon as I hit the Pennsylvania Turnpike, the mount went like that, and so now the camera's kind of just sitting down. So I don't even have it turned on right now. I have to readjust, duct tape a couple more things on that before I got an actual decent angle facing forward. Otherwise, it was just facing the sky. It's not worth nothing. Actually, I'm really not pleased at all with that fucking mount. I'm gonna sell it at some point. Yeah, I'm driving a 1999 Toyota Corolla, 4-cylinder engine. And according to my dad, it's got kind of an oil burning problem, but it doesn't make any smoke in the back. I checked the dipstick before I left the hotel, and you know, it's at the second nub. It's just like the oil is just above the second nub, so I should be good. I'm half debating whether or not I'm going to stop in Pittsburgh, fucking Steelers country, stop at a diner or something before I get to Columbus. But it's not 12 o'clock yet. It's 10:15 a.m. right now, so I probably won't do that. There's a Starbucks at that next exit. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I got some Monsters in the cooler here. I'll just drink one of those if I start to get sleepy. Of course, I'm not sleepy. I had a pretty decent night's sleep last night. Mind you, I got up a little earlier than I wanted to because I wanted to take advantage of that complimentary breakfast that Days Inn usually has. Not that it was really much of a breakfast. It was a bowl of Cheerios and some toast. You know, some places they give you waffles, you know, some places, yeah, but, yeah. I had half a cup of coffee, some orange juice, a bowl of Fruit Loops, a small bowl of Fruit Loops, and that was about it. I didn't even want to eat the toast. I mean, it's not like the toast wasn't fresh, it's just I just didn't want to eat it. Yeah, I'm not going to stop at that. I'll stop at the next service station. I'm not really hungry right now. If I really get famished, I got a pack of crackers in that bag next to me there, but that's, I'm not going to need them. Yesterday I was in Philadelphia, Philadelphia, Columbus, and then Chicago. Actually, I was going to stop in Erie, Pennsylvania. Actually, I'm glad I didn't stop at that service station. That service station looks packed as shit. So, yeah, that was a good call. Anyway, yeah, I was going to stop in Erie, Pennsylvania today on the way to Columbus, but I would be going up and then going down, and I'm not going to, that just adds like an extra, like, I don't know, 100 miles onto the trip. I'm not going to do that. I might do that in October if I can get Matt and Anthony and William, if I can get them agreed on what week in October we're all going to meet up in Chicago. Now, the reason I'm going to Chicago this week is because I want to go watch, I'm going to go to Guaranteed Rate Field or Kaminsky Park. Let's call it what it fucking is, alright? Kaminsky Park. Not, Guaranteed Rate Field. Not Cellular Stadium. Cellular Stadium was actually a better name than Guaranteed Rate Field. Motherfuckers. I mean, I understand they gotta sell the stadium to certain people, but goddamn, couldn't you guys have come up with a better name than Guaranteed Rate Field? The locals in South Chicago, they call it Kaminsky Park, because that's what it is, Kaminsky Park. The guy Kaminsky, he built the damn thing. It's there. It's the home of the White Sox. It's Kaminsky Park. Enough said. So anyway, I'm going to Kaminsky Park to watch the Baltimore Orioles play against the Chicago White Sox. Now, as of last night, so far it's 1-0. It's a 4-game series with the White Sox at Kaminsky Park. And from what it is the Orioles lost last night. I don't know what the hell radio station it is in Columbus, Ohio. I would listen to the game when I get to Columbus. Maybe I'll watch it on ESPN or whatever, or if they have MASN. I don't know if they have MASN in Columbus. I don't even know if the hotel I'm going to be staying at is going to have a TV. I don't know. One thing I can tell you, if you're ever staying at a Red Roof Inn, don't go on the Wi-Fi. I went on the Wi-Fi when I went to Chicago back in November, and some guy tried to hack my fucking Hotmail account, and I was like, no. So I had to change the password on that. No, so no, it's not worth getting on the internet when you're in a Red Roof Inn. I don't trust their Wi-Fi. Red Roof Inn's actually pretty nice if you're on a budget. It's a nice hotel. It's kind of like the Days Inn. It's a little cheaper than Best Western. It's a good price to stay there for however many amount of nights you're going to be staying there. But one thing's for sure, never go on the goddamn Wi-Fi, because they don't have a very secure Wi-Fi. But anyway, I'll try to watch the game tonight, whatever the hell channel it's going to be on. But the thing is, though, I'm not going there as an Orioles fan. I'm actually just going there because I'm going to have an excuse or reason to go to Kaminsky Park to see a baseball game. First of all, the last baseball game I saw was like when I was like 8 years old, and my sister Melissa took me to Camden Yards to see an Orioles game. I forget who the hell we were playing against. I can't even remember if we won. I think I got ADD or something, and I was just kind of like exploring all around for most of the time. I didn't understand baseball back then like I do now. I was like, oh yeah, this is fine, this is great, yay. I'm gonna go see what's downstairs. It's like, alright, we'll come right back. Shit like that. But now it's like, now I want to actually see the game. And, actually watch the game. The thing is, though, I don't know who to root for. I mean, obviously I'm going to be rooting for the Orioles because I'm from Baltimore, but at the same time, I don't want to get the shit beaten out of me while I'm in enemy territory. Then again, when it comes to the White Sox, from what I hear, not a lot of people go to Kaminsky Park anymore. It's not really a big thing. I mean, there's like a lot of empty seats, or at least there was a couple years ago. So I might have the whole goddamn row to myself. I don't know. Still debating whether or not I'm going to wear my Orioles hat. I think if I wear my Orioles hat, I'm just asking for someone to kill me. But I'm definitely wearing my orange shirt though. Not my bright orange shirt, just the plaid one. The bits of orange and so that way it's not completely obvious. But from what my friend Chris tells me, you shouldn't wear orange in Chicago, period, because it's got some kind of gang affiliation thing. I mean, what do you think? You think I look Latino? I mean, I don't know. I might be able to get away with it, but I think as long as I don't wear a do-rag on my head, I should be okay. But the thing is, I want to go to Kaminsky Park. I already bought the ticket. I bought that like a month ago. But the thing about it is, I don't know how much everything's going to be when I get there. I mean, I'm going to buy I'll probably get like a beer. Then again, maybe not. I think the beers are probably like $9 a cup or some shit like that. So maybe not. I won't buy a beer. But I mean, I'm definitely getting a hot dog. You got to buy a fucking hot dog when you're in Chicago, and you got to buy a hot dog when you're at a ballpark. So I might buy 2 hot dogs, unless they're like $9 a pop. From what I tell you, from what I can tell you, when you go to a baseball or any stadium for that matter, I used to work at M&T Bank Stadium. I can tell you for a fact that I used to work at the Atman's Deli at M&T Bank Stadium. I can tell you for a fact that we're going to overcharge you for something that anywhere else you could get $5 for. Just for the fact that you're buying it while you're in a stadium, they add $4 onto everything. I might be wrong when it comes to Kaminsky Park. Maybe they lowered the prices of things to get more people to show up after the empty stadium debacle. Maybe, I don't know. They might not have like crazy prices. If they don't, then I'm gonna get a hot dog. I don't fucking care if I gotta pay $20 for it. I will buy a hot dog while I'm there. But I'm probably not gonna drink any beer. I don't want to be like one of those. I mean, I've gotten drunk before, people. I know. I got the drunk gaming series thing. Hashtags. Shameless self-advertising within another video. But no, really, I'm kidding. It's just watch it. If you know, I got a whole playlist of it, and you can just binge watch it. But anyway, I know I get drunk, but I don't get drunk in public. I fucking have principles, alright? I got principles. I don't get drunk in public. That's the thing. I mean, I'm drunk as I'm heading home. Well, not now. I mean, not when I'm driving. Now that I got a driver's license. Hell, not now. No, I don't drink and drive. Never fucking drink and drive. Never. No, that's the other reason I'm not going to get drunk when I get to Kaminsky Park is because, you know, wherever the hell I am gonna park, I'm going to take the red line to the stadium and then walk, because I'm not going to park at the stadium. That's another thing I've learned from working at M&T Bank Stadium is that, you know, parking at the stadium, you're going to have to leave like before the game's even over just in order to get the hell out of there because the traffic's going to be crazy as shit. That thing I can tell you for a fact. So I'm not going to park at Kaminsky Stadium because I'm probably going to have to pay extra. First of all, I'll have to pay extra to park there, and there'll probably be an arm and a leg. And secondly, there's probably not going to be any places to park as it is. Unless, of course, it's one of those empty stadium situations like I hear the White Sox have a problem with. So, I don't know. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to park somewhere along the red line. Because I hear it's only like $4 for the whole day if you park along the red line and you show your ticket to the guy. So that's cool. Once again, don't know if I'm going to find a spot. Of course, hopefully the parking's a lot better than it is in Philadelphia, but I'll bitch about that in a second. I'm on Chicago right now. Secondly, when I get there, when I get back to the car, I don't want to have a fucking buzz on while I'm driving. You know, it's okay to drink like 2 beers. 2 beers is my maximum, and then I drive. Yinglings, that is. That's pretty strong beer. 2 Yinglings. I could probably drink like 5 Coors Lights or whatever before I start to get a buzz. Tastes like piss anyway. Well, actually, you know, a Coors Light isn't as bad as Budweiser. Budweiser, that tastes like piss. And don't even get me fucking started on Natty Bo. Yeah, I know I'm from Baltimore, but let me tell you something. Natty Bo is way fucking overrated. It really is. I mean, $2 for a can of Natty Bo. Wow, that's great. It tastes like piss. It tastes like it was... Well, no, actually, you know what? It does taste a lot better than some of these microbrews I've had. I've had some of these microbrews which are supposed to be stronger than your typical beer, but it tastes like they've been strained out through a fucking deer's bladder or something, for God's sake. That stuff tastes like piss. And the whole microbrew thing only started up because of the recession. All these hipsters got together like, hey man, we need to like literally come up with money. So like I literally came up with like this idea to make our own beer because, you know, we're running out of like money because of the recession. session, and I'm saying everything in the form of a question because it's ironic. Anyway, that's the whole reason the whole fucking, you know, microbrew thing started up. I've been a Yuengling man since I started drinking like 5 years ago. Well, not drinking as in like alcoholic drinking, just, you know, drinking. Anyway, I've been a Yuengling man ever since. Unfortunately, I don't think Yuengling has made it past the Appalachian Mountains. So when I'm in Chicago, I gotta order Coors Light. So 2 Coors Lights is like the potency of a Coors Light and a half is like the potency of a Yuengling. So there you go. There's my beer math for the day. But you know, the shame of it is that Yuengling is Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, I think is where it's brewed. And you know, it's not that far off. I mean, they could ship it around the country. I mean, you know, Budweiser, Miller Lite, Coors Light, they're all national beers. But, you know, Yuengling, which is a fucking great beer, is not sold nationally. You go to Chicago, you ask them if you got Yuengling, and they're like, you go to like any place in Chicago. You know, actually, you know what? If anybody sees this video and watches this video, please prove me wrong. Prove me fucking wrong. Put in the comment section below or whatever. Tell me where I can get Yuengling in Chicago. Liquor store, anything. Tell me where I can get it. Well, no, not a liquor store. Tell me a bar that I can get Yuengling from. A bar where I can go up to them and say, like, hey, I'd like a Yuengling, and like, here you go. You know, a bar. I want to find a bar that's got like every beer from all over the fucking, not that hipster microbrew shit. Alright, not that. A fucking actual bar. I don't care if it's south side, north side, east side, well, maybe not west side. Not west side Chicago, please, not west side. But just tell me a bar where I can actually get Yuengling from in Chicago. Prove me wrong. But until then, from what I can tell, you can't get Yuengling anywhere in Chicago. You can probably get it at a liquor store. You can probably buy a 6-pack of it. Hell, that's one thing I love about Chicago is that they have beer. You can buy beer and liquor at the 7-Elevens. They got liquor licenses there. I've never been to a grocery store in Chicago. As a matter of fact, Walmart has these places called Walmart Express, which are like little grocery stores. It's like fucking, my mind's fucking blown from that. We don't have all that cool shit in Baltimore. You can't buy liquor at grocery stores. You can't hardly do anything, pretty much. You gotta go to a liquor store. Well, of course, where I live in Hamden. We got like 5 liquor stores around here. The best one's the Wine Source. The Wine Source, if you're ever in Hamden, Baltimore, go to the Wine Source. That is a really good, they fucking have everything. They got everything from those hipster brews to actual beer to wine to, I mean, if you're one of those, you know, faggot wine connoisseur type people, you'll love it. They got all kinds of wine. They got, you know, and they got decent prices too. But yeah, if you don't like that, there's another liquor store on 36th Street, right down the street, across the street. You know, you can go there too if you want. They got $1 bottles of, you know, little mini Kahlua, which is, oh shit. I just drove past the Pennsylvania State Patrol and I'm going 80. I think it's legal to go. I think you can go 10 miles over the limit without there being an issue. I don't know. I don't see any flashing lights for now, so I should be okay. I just don't want to run in the Smoky, as you folks would call them out here. I'm out in the sticks. I'm out in the countryside. Don't want to get pulled over by Smoky while I'm trying to get to where I'm going. Not at all. But anyway, but yeah, if you can find me a place in Chicago that actually has Yuengling, fuck, I'll go there. I'll drink 5 of them. And I won't drive though. I'll take an Uber back to the hotel, of course. I'm not gonna drive. Like I said, don't drink and drive, people. It's not cool. Alright, I think that's a plainclothes cop right behind me. I'm just gonna go down to 75 just to be on the safe side. Just down the 70 side. Ah, son of a bitch. I got 212 miles to go. I killed about 25 miles by talking. 20 minutes so far. Big ass truck in front of me with a bulldozer on the back of it, and I got to keep adjusting this phone because I'm going over bumps. You can probably tell the camera's probably shaking. I mean, phone camera is probably shaking. So got to keep readjusting the, I could probably duct tape it to the, nah, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, I think that's a plainclothes cop. I can tell he's got, I don't know if those are headlights, but he's got some kind of light system set up inside the headlights. They're like circular lights. It's a Ford. It's one of those Ford SUVs. Ford something. I don't know, you know those fat Ford SUV type things? I mean, they're fat, but they can go pretty fucking fast for an SUV. I see them, I usually see them driving around in cars. It's probably not a plainclothes cop. Nah, it looks like a woman. It's not a cop. Anyway, now, I'm not being sexist. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know there's women cops. I'm just joking. What I mean is this woman has her hair down. Usually cops have it in a ponytail. I'm just, you know, I'm not being sexist. Hang on here. I should back off from this truck a little bit. Ever since I saw Final Destination 2, I don't like driving behind trucks on the highway. And of course, there's a tanker truck right next to that. And I'm pretty sure there was like some Chevy Chase movie where he was driving behind a tanker truck and it started spraying radioactive shit. So I don't want to do that either. See, my childhood, I shouldn't have watched all that shit when I was a kid, man. I'm not saying I turned out screwed up. Well, only a little bit. But I'm just saying, you know, when I get on the highway behind stuff, I freak. Yeah, it's carrying flammable liquid. It's got the little red thing on the triangle thing on the back, little diamond thing on the back saying flammable liquid. It's probably a gas truck. Yeah, that's great. So I either get crushed by a fucking bulldozer that pops off the chains or I get killed from an explosion. Gee, let me, you know. Oh, he's getting over. Okay, there we go. He's getting over. Let me speed past him for the sake of my life. For the sake of my life, possible female cop behind me. That's the only reason I'm speeding. I'm trying to get past this guy. I don't want to die. It's for my life's sake. Survival reasons, Your Honor. Alright, so here we go. And now the danger is behind me now. Okay, there. Ooh, wow, that's really pretty. I wish you guys could. Well, it's all trees. You're not missing nothing. I'm on top of a mountain now. I'm probably going over the Appalachians. I don't know what that is over there, but there's like a town over in that direction on the other side of the valley. It's pretty sweet. And I've almost burned almost burned through a quarter tank of gas so far today. I got gas yesterday back in Philly. I stopped at a BP. Fucking BP. Jesus. You know how it is when you go to a BP gas station, they charge you like an extra 20 cents a gallon. Hey, but it was okay. They had a television there. You could watch BP television while you're pumping gas. Fuck you, BP. No, but what I ended up doing was I ended up just getting like $20 worth of gas. That's enough. You know, that'll work. And there's stop places along the way. I'll stop and get gas if I need it. But I still got 3/4 of a tank. The only problem is with this car is that I don't trust the gauge. The gauge is messed up. Like, you know. So when I get down to a quarter tank of gas, I'll buy some new gas. Because I don't know where the hell it's going to be at that point. I mean, it can tell you it's a quarter tank of gas, but then when you park, it's like on empty. So, fuck that. I don't know what the... But I'll just go with it. You know, I can't afford a new gas tank or anything right now. I mean, not that I couldn't afford. Well, no, I can't afford a gas tank right now. I would have to work like an extra. I would have to work like a double shift for like, I don't know. I'm really getting sick of working double shifts, man. I only do one. I can't work more than 30 hours a week because I'm part-time. So I can work at least one double shift. But a couple weeks ago, I worked a double shift on a Saturday and a Sunday. God damn, I was just about ready to quit after that. I'm never working a double shift on a Sunday. I mean, on a Saturday again. They're not bad on Sundays. I'm going to be working a double shift this Sunday when I get back home. You know, just to make up for lost time. Because when I get home, I'm getting home Sunday. So I might as well do a double shift because then I'm going to be off Monday and Tuesday. I'm I'm gonna come home, work one day, and then have another 2 days off. So shit, I might as well do a double. You know, I'll have time to rest. That was half the reason I went on this trip. One of the reasons, see my boys, the Orioles, play against the White Sox in enemy territory. You know, that's, well, I mean, I'm not doing it to piss off you good Chicago people, especially not the Southside Chicago people. Southside Chicago's not as bad as they make it out to be, man. It really isn't. It really, I mean, everybody's very human down there. I would actually rather hang out in the Southside Chicago than be in the North Side. The North Side of Chicago is just a little too artsy-fartsy, a little too froofy for me, man. You know, I mean, but with that said, it is pretty nice up there. I do like Wrigleyville. I was only in Roscoe Village last year, the year before last, in December, when I was doing my Watchdogs hub. I had to go to Roscoe Village to take a picture of the Commonwealth, Yeah, I think it's called the Commonwealth Inn. Of course, now it's the Commonwealth Tavern now. It used to be a little mini motel back in the day. Al Capone stayed there. A couple of different people stayed there. It used to be a hotel, or a motel. It was an inn. It was an inn. It's a small building, probably had like 4 rooms altogether, tops. But anyway, now they've turned it into a fucking tavern like hipsters like to do. But it's still nice in there. The building's still there. It's just now it's a bar. You know, it's not a hotel anymore. It's not a motel. It's not an inn. I don't know if you can even stay there for the night. I think it's probably owned private apartments, you know, like it usually is. Hell, the fucking guy who owns the bar probably lives there. I don't know. I don't know the story. But it used to be a motel back in the gangster days of Chicago, and Al Capone stayed there. And it's one of the hot spots in Watchdogs, so I had to take a picture of it for my hub on Hub Pages. Or my article on Hub Pages, I should say. Yeah, it makes more sense to say that. My article on Hub Pages. Which I'm going to post at some point. Hell, I'm not going to post it when I get to Columbus. Like I said, I don't trust the Red Roof Inn Wi-Fi. So, I don't know, maybe I'll post it. Maybe not. I'll work on it. Maybe I'll just stay the fuck offline and just... Yeah, I'll just stay the fuck offline. Or I'll find a Starbucks, maybe, if I got time. You know, what the hell. But anyway, now that I'm mobile and I can actually drive everywhere, I'm going to drive back to Roscoe Village and just drive around and hang around and check it out. Because when I went there back in December of the year before last, it was a bitch getting there. It was like a mile away. I had to walk a mile just from I think it was the Brown Line. I forget which CTA station there, but from the Brown Line, I had to walk a mile to Roscoe Street. Motherfucker. I mean, Roscoe Village, not Roscoe Street. See, I was talking about subways and everything, and it made me think of Max Payne, Roscoe Street. Something in the air at Roscoe Street. No, it's Roscoe Village. But it looks really pricey there, man. And now that I got a phone that actually has GPS on it, I'll be able to get around a hell of a lot better. Because when I was there in Roscoe Village, I had to ask this Irish guy. There was an Irish-American guy. And he was at this nearby fucking gas station up the street from from the Commonwealth Inn, or Commonwealth Tavern now. And it was at that intersection, and I went in there, and he's like, oh yeah, where are you heading? And I'm like, oh, I'm trying to get back to, because I got all turned around. I didn't know where the fuck I was. Once I got to that intersection, it was like 8 o'clock at night in December, you know, dark as shit out. And I was really pushing hard to do that article. I mean, I busted my ass for that article, all right? So when I post it, fucking read it, man. I'm also doing a series on Twitch where I'm playing Watchdogs, and I'm going to the different, you know, well, not going to the different places, but I'm just like trying to compare it to the real life Chicago. But the whole point of the article is not to criticize Ubisoft. I just want to point that out. I'm not criticizing Ubisoft for the way they, for what they've done. I'm just trying to find why they made the free roam map the way they made it. You know, I'm trying to look for maybe where they found their inspiration for it. That's all. I'm not trying to say oh, they fucked this up, they fucked that up. No, it's not that kind of article. It's not that kind of Twitch series. Yeah, go around me, you fucking Buick. You're going 80 miles an hour, you fucking cocksucker. Go around me. I remember the days when Buicks were only driven by old people. Yep, old person. It's a fucking old guy. Ha! I called it! I called it! Man, he's going 90 miles. All right, good for you, old timer. Ha ha ha! That's an oxymoron. How about that? Guy's going 80 miles an hour on the fucking highway. I'm going 80. He's going like 100, and he's old as shit in a Buick. Fucking A. Good for you, man. Oh, that motherfucker's on his cell phone. And he's a cop. Okay, well. Plainclothes cop. Excuse me, officer. Well, he's still a motherfucker, right? Yeah. Anyway. But hey, he's not pulling me over. He's driving forward. He's probably going to pull that old guy over. But, come to think of it, let me get over in the slow lane here. Because I was actually driving in the fast lane. That was kind of dickish of me to drive in the fast lane. Only going 80. So I'm going to stay over here. Of course, there's more bumps, so I'm going to have to readjust the phone more often. But, anyway, what the fuck was I talking about? Yeah, anyway, so, you know, the whole point of the article is not to criticize Ubisoft. You know what, fuck it. Actually, I'm getting back over in the fast lane. Because there's too many goddamn bumps over here. Fuck it. Sorry, New Jersey. Drive around me if you don't like it. Anyway, so it's not to criticize them. I'm just trying to find their inspiration for why they made the free roam map the way they made it. But so far, from what I've found out, from what I've seen, it's like you get a Chicago vibe from playing the game. I mean, nothing's like the real thing. Nothing is like the real thing, but it's pretty neat. From my findings, anyway, from the shitloads of research and actual exploring that I've done. But you know, one thing's for sure: whether or not, you know, I'm not trying to prove that whether or not Ubisoft did a great job or not. That's not the point of the article. You know, the point of the article originally was just to, you know, maybe inspire people to go to Chicago. You know, because it inspired me to go to Chicago. Well, originally I went to Chicago. Why? Okay, so here's basically what happened. I went to Chicago because of a girl. The girl turned out to be a bitch. I fell in love with the city instead. Went back in December for the city. Ended up falling in love with a girl. Then went back because of that girl. Never found that girl again. But was there for the. Actually, that trip was shit. But then in November after that, I went back strictly for work for this Watch Dogs thing. Got it done. So it's all good. And I'm over Jessica, so it doesn't matter. Totally over. But the coffee shop that supposedly she works at is actually a pretty nice coffee shop. Okay, I just made myself sound like a fucking stalker by saying that. Okay, let me explain what happened. Alright, so I go there in, let's see, I go there in July because of this group. Alright, let me skip that part. Fuck that. I wrote an article about that on Hub Pages. Go read it. It's called Killing the Blues in Chicago. That'll explain, that'll save me a whole lot of talking. And you a whole lot of ear bleeding. Okay, so, right, December 2015, I go back to Chicago. I go there because sometime in the fall of that year, I decided, I was playing Watch Dogs, and I thought, you know what, I want to go back to Chicago. This is, you know, I was playing it, and I was like, man, I'm feeling homesick, even though I'm not from Chicago. And, I was feeling homesick, and I was like, man, I want to go back to Chicago. I want to check that out. So, basically, the Watch Dogs thing was like an excuse to go back to Chicago. So I went there and I researched all the hot spots in the game, because that's how I based my article on, was all the hot spots. And I made a list of everything, and I was researching the shit out of it, Googling all these different places and all the different addresses of where everything is. And yeah, so I went there and I got like 40% of the overall article done. I mean, I was on the L train most of the time that I was there. I was there for 3 days, stayed at the Best Western in Grant Park. It wasn't that cold, you know, for December. Chicago's really not that cold in December, to be honest with you. So I was there in Chicago, and while I was there, I met this girl. Her name was Jessica, and she had red hair, she had glasses. God, she was fucking cute. Apparently she was working at this Starbucks that I went to, which is actually down the street from Kaminsky Park, actually. And she was working at this Starbucks, and I was like, hey, yeah, she's kind of pretty. But I ordered my coffee. It was a white chocolate mocha. I always get white chocolate mocha when I go to Starbucks. And I got one of those what are they called? Naked, those orange juice smoothies. I don't even know if they still make them anymore. I don't see them anymore. But I I got one of those, and I got a white chocolate mocha, and because I needed all the help I could get with my, because I was all over the place that day. That day I was north, south, fucking everywhere in Chicago that day, going to these different hot spots, taking pictures and everything. And mainly inside the loop. I got a lot of the stuff that was inside the loop. I got that done in December, and because it was easy, everything was like right up the street from each other, which is just like in Watch Dogs. All the hot spots, how like when you look at the map and you got all those little check marks, all the little hot spots. It's like that when you go to the loop, and everything was like right there, and I was like, I got most of it in the first. But see, the thing is, it was December and it was after 5 o'clock, so a lot of the stuff was closed. So I ended up taking pictures of stuff from the outside, but I wanted to take pictures of the interior, like City Hall and the State Center. But I had to wait. I did that back in November of this year, well, of last year, 2016. I did that back in November. So I made up for everything I didn't get in December. I made up for back in November. And now when I get there tomorrow, I'm going to be making up for all the stuff I've missed so far. So yeah, this will technically be the 5th trip to Chicago where I have something related to the Watch Dogs article that I'm writing. Because a couple other places I goofed up the first time. Anyway, back to Jessica. So I'm standing there, I'm waiting for the green line to take me back to Roosevelt so that I can get back to my hotel. And because Roosevelt has orange, red, green, and pink, all those lines stop at Roosevelt. It's like a hub center. And so I was waiting for the green line. I think I was at the Chicago station, or I was at Wabash Lake and Clark and Lake. I think I was either at Clark and Lake, or I was at. It was one of those. It was one of the L train stations in the loop, and I was waiting for the green line. Can't remember exactly where. It was the old wooden board. Anyway. So I was waiting for the L train, and there was like this really cute girl there with glasses and red hair. Of course, she was wearing a hat, and she was wearing these she was wearing a sweatshirt and sweatpants, but she was, you could tell her figure from the sweatpants. And I was checking her out while I was waiting for the train. I was pacing back and forth waiting for the train because I think I might have like restless leg syndrome or something. I don't know. I was just trying to keep the circulation going. As a matter of fact, at some point I'm gonna have to stop and like stretch my legs. My knee's starting to hurt. I've been driving for about an hour and a half now. Actually, not fucking. My knee's not hurting. I got painkillers right here. I'll just pop a couple of those. They're Advils. They're Advils. They're not painkillers. It's over the counter, people. It's all good. It's legal. I'm not drunk. I'm sober. I'm also that. Don't drink and drive, people. Anyway, so this girl, Jessica, I was checking her out, and she was listening to music. I was listening to music too. It's the 21st century. We don't talk to anybody anymore. Everybody. We just listen to music. Of course, I'm talking to you right now, so now fuck it. I'll listen to music later. Anyway, what it was I was checking her out, and I think she picked up on it because she took her one earbud out, and she came over and she was like, "Hey, don't I know you from somewhere?" And it was like, I'm not gonna seem like an egotistical prick and say, "Oh, you must know me from my hub pages." No, it wasn't anything like that. I don't do shit like, And my Joke of the Week series on YouTube wasn't so much of a hit that, that I'm not famous or anything. So it wasn't a famous thing. It wasn't anything like that. It was, I think what it was she was like, "Oh yeah, you're that guy from Starbucks." And I never talked to her when I was at Starbucks. I didn't flirt with her or anything when I was there. I kind of wanted to, but I'm too socially awkward. No, that's not the reason. No, not at all. The reason why I didn't talk to her because I was focused on my work. That's it. Yeah, that's it. I was focused on my work, and I didn't talk to her because I was trying to concentrate on what location I was going to be taking pictures of that day. So, anyhow, she was talking, so we struck up a conversation and everything. I forgot what the fuck it was we were talking about. I know it's kind of sad that I remember her, tight pants, but not remember the conversation we had. Fuck. Now I just made myself sound like an asshole. I think what it was okay, here's the deal. Here's my excuse for that. I was tired as shit. I was tired that day. I was walking everywhere. I must have had L train lag or something. I don't know. That's a reason I don't remember. But we were just talking about different stuff, and I think I was probably rambling on. And she was mentioning about how she's an artist, and you know, and she does drawings, and I was talking about how I'm a writer and I'm a photographer, and we were talking about that. It wasn't that long of a train ride, but we were both getting off at Roosevelt because she was going to the Trader Joe's that's there. I think at, not Michigan Avenue, but the street that's next to Michigan Avenue. I think that's Clark Street. Anyway, she was getting off at the Green Station. But the reason why I figured she was into me was because as we were talking, whatever the fuck it was we were talking about, I don't remember. But the thing I do remember was she started off, when we were first talking, she started off with the whole "I got a boyfriend" thing, which is you know, my generation. That's our thing now. We don't want to get involved with anybody, so we start right off with the "Hey, I got a boyfriend," you know. But it wasn't like that. It was like she kind of just casually mentioned it in conversation, like, "I got a boyfriend." But here's the thing. This is the reason why I thought she was into me, because while we were talking and we were on the green line when we were on the L train, hey, well, a Mercedes is getting out of my way so I can drive past him. That's thank you, man. A fucking Mercedes. That's class right there. Oh, it's a Cougar. Thank you, miss. Anyway, but I don't mean Cougar as in Puma. I mean Cougar as an older lady, mature lady. That kind of Cougar. Anyway, so we were talking, but over time, I'm making myself seem like such an asshole right now. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. You know, sorry, not sorry. Anyway, while we were talking, she started off by saying, before we got on the train, she was like, "Oh, I have a boyfriend." But while we were talking, she was like, "Well, he's not really my boyfriend. He's just this guy I'm dating." And I was like, "Ha ha!" You know? But well, I wasn't literally like that. I mean, in my head, I was like, "Ha ha!" You know, but I mean, it didn't fucking matter because it was a Tuesday night. I was going back to Baltimore the day after that, and Wednesday I was going back, and here's where it got awkward. I asked her for her number, because I wasn't stalking her, I wasn't following her, because what happened was I was heading back to the hotel. It was along the way to the Trader Joe's, so there was that. But anyway, I asked her for her number, but she was like, "Oh, I don't call, I don't text," and I don't blame her. You know, some phone. I mean, I've had track phone for 2 years. I had track phone for 2 years, and I eventually I said fuck it. I couldn't take it. I had like one of those little cheap LG BlackBerry things with the keyboards. Everything was like regulated through minutes, and I was like, fuck it. I can't take it anymore. I can't even hear anybody when I'm calling on this thing. I threw the goddamn phone away. I got with Cricket. I got a Windows phone for $1, and there you go. Yeah, I know. I got a Windows phone. I get it. I know. I'm an asshole for buying it, but it was $1. All right? My inner Jew was saying go for it. But anyway, what I'm getting at, I understand that she doesn't want to call or text because that shit costs minutes. Plus, if you're a struggling artist and you're working at Starbucks, you're probably not making that much money as it is. So you don't want to pay like $40 a month on a bill and all that kind of shit. So I get it. I get it. So she gave me her Facebook instead, and I started following her on Facebook. For the sake of her anonymity, I'm not going to give out the name. I already called her Jessica, so I'm not even going to. Also, for the record, I don't think I can actually properly pronounce her last name anyway. So even if I was to give out her last name, I would probably just make it sound stupid anyway. But yeah. Anyway, in May, I went back to Chicago because I still had some more places to work out with the Watchdogs Hub. And I can't see shit over this wall. I want to actually look at stuff, but I can't see nothing. All I can see are some clouds in the sky. I don't know if they're like just evaporated clouds because of the heat, or if they're like those big puffy storm clouds. I don't know. But anyway, I went to Chicago, and this time I decided to take the train. Took an Amtrak train to Chicago. Amtrak, it was the Cardinal line, as they call it. Motherfucker. That was one of the worst travel decisions I think I've ever made in my life. First of all, it takes a goddamn day. No, a day and 1 hour. 25 hours. It takes 25 fucking hours to get to Chicago from Baltimore when you're on the train. The only stops they really stop at is in Washington, D.C. They stop there for about an hour. No, for about 40 minutes. So you can get out and explore Union Station, or whatever the fuck the name of that station is down there. And you can get out, you can go to that station for 40 minutes. But after that, that's it, man. They stop at pretty much every fucking hick middle of goddamn nowhere train station along the way. Every goddamn station they stop at. And nobody's getting on or well, I mean, there were people getting on and getting off at certain stations, but Jesus Christ, man. It's like, fuck these stations, let's just keep going. What the fuck, man? You ever stopping in, like, you know, West Virginia, these like fucking hick towns in West Virginia, these old mining towns where they had like fucking mining union riots and shit? You could probably see the ghosts of the mine workers and the Pinkertons up on the hill. God damn, dude, I don't even, you know, I mean, the only one good part was we stopped in this one, we stopped at this one town, and I'm pretty sure that was the town that was in the beginning of that Patrick Swayze movie, Next of Kin. You guys ever see that? Next of Kin? It was made in the 80s. Decent movie. It was actually a really good movie. I mean, even by today's standards. And Ben Stiller, he was, well, hold on, let me finish. Don't not watch the movie just because he's in it. Just let me finish. Ben Stiller was in it, but he was playing like a serious part. But this was back in the 80s before he was even like, he was, what the hell was the name of that skit show that he had in the early 90s? Well, anyway, it was before that. He was like in a serious movie. And he was like the son of this mob boss in Chicago, and he killed Bill Paxton. Yeah, it's not a spoiler. Bill Paxton dies like within the first 5 minutes of the movie. But he was in it, and of course he's dead in real life, God rest his soul. But he was, actually Patrick Swayze is too. It's a shame. That's two good actors that have passed away within the last 5 years that played in this movie. But it's a good movie. It is a good movie. But he gets killed in Chicago, and then Patrick Swayze, he's a cop in Chicago, but he's from the mountains of West Virginia. And at least I'm assuming so. He might be from the mountains, but he's from the Appalachians. He's from the Appalachians. But this one town we stopped at on the train looks like the town that's in the beginning of Next of Kin. So take that for what you will. But I can't imagine how bad it must have been for the actors and the crew to fucking take the train for 15 hours from that town to Chicago just to film that scene. Holy shit. Of course, they probably all stayed in the roomettes, but from what I've seen of the roomettes on an Amtrak train, it's nothing like it is in the movies. It's like there's a seat here, there's a seat there, and I think one of the seats turns into a toilet. Holy shit. Oh my god, that's, no. It better be one of those chemical toilets with the odor killing stuff in it or whatever, because I can't imagine sleeping and sitting in the same goddamn room as a toilet. God, in the shower. Oh, Jesus, don't get me started on the shower. It felt like it was a chihuahua pissing up my ass. God damn, the water pressure on that shower was retarded. It was terrible. Oh, Christ. I'm never doing that Amtrak crap again. Unless, of course, I get on the Silver Line or something from Los Angeles to Chicago. Ever since I saw that movie Silver Streak with Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. That's another good movie. If you're on Netflix, look up Next. I don't know if Next of Kin's on Netflix. It might be. I don't know. But watch that and watch Silver Streak. That's two good movies I'm recommending to you. But Silver Streak was, the Silver Streak was a made-up train line. It was basically based on the Silver Line, the Silver Amtrak line. But they had to call it Silver Streak and call the train line something else entirely because Amtrak didn't agree to being in the movie. Which is actually kind of stupid because it was a fucking great movie. First of all, it's timeless. Even by today's standards, if you watch it by today's standards, it's actually still pretty good, even by today's standards. And it's probably one of the best, apart from Hear No Evil, See No Evil. It's one of the best Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor movies. And it's the first one. It's the first one. Of course, Richard Pryor doesn't show up until about an hour into the movie, but it's fucking good. It's a good movie. Anyway, but yeah, I think someday I might go to Los Angeles and take the Silver Line from Los Angeles to Chicago. But you know, after my experience on the Cardinal, I don't know if I even want to do that. I mean, it's like sleeping on it. Well, I was sleeping in business class when I took the train to Chicago back last May. Well, the May before last, May 2016, I took it. I thought to myself, hey, I'm doing something thrifty. Hey, I'm saving money. It isn't worth it. That $100 I saved not taking the train to Chicago is not worth it. It's not worth it. Maybe I should have took that. Maybe. Oh, that's not a rest stop. That's a welcome center. Oh, now I got to reduce my speed to 55 along here. Son of a bitch. All right. Okay. Well, that's going to add some time onto the trip. It's a work zone. It's a construction zone, so I'm going to have to go slow along here because they got those cameras on the dashboards and the hoods and all that. But anyway, no, don't take if you're going to Chicago from the East Coast, don't take the train. Really, do not take the train. I've never been on a bus. I don't ever intend to be on a bus. Just don't take the train. It's like sleeping on a fucking paint mixer, man. I've said this before on different places. I think I said it during my drunk gaming series. I mentioned it, but it's true. Don't do it, man. Really, don't take a train. If you're going to a different time zone, don't take a train. Or at least don't take the Cardinal line. I don't know about the other Amtrak lines. I'm hoping maybe the Silver Line is probably really nice, which is why I want to get on it. I doubt it's going to be anything like it is in Silver Streak, because I think the trains they've probably downsized since the 70s. In fact, I would like to get on any kind of train that actually has decent cabins. And I don't mean a roomette, I mean a cabin. I'm talking from Russia with Love, Silver Streak, Narrow Margin, Under Siege 2, what else? What other movies have been on a train? Yeah, either version of Narrow Margin. Either the original or the one with Gene Hackman, either one. Or pretty much any movie that had a train in it. Any movie that's had a train with an actual cabin in it. It's probably bullshit. That's probably all Hollywood bullshit. I don't know. Maybe there's no trains anywhere that exist that actually have cabins anymore. I don't know. But I would like to get on an actual train line. Put in the comments section below if you've actually gotten this far into the video. If you have, thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry you had to see my mug for the last 53 minutes so far. 53 minutes and counting. But I guess it's better than the radio, right? Speaking of the radio, I don't even know what the fuck stations are out here, so I'm just gonna keep doing this. But yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching so far. But yeah, put in the comments section below any actual train lines that actually still have cabins in them, because I would like to rent one and take a train in an actual fucking Hollywood-style cabin. You know, like in the movies. Not a roomette, not a goddamn roomette with all that bullcrap. I mean, an actual cabin. No, but anyway, I thought I was being thrifty by taking the train. I didn't want to be on coach. I didn't want to take coach. I was like, well, if you don't have any roomette, well, I didn't want to pay like an extra $200 for a roomette either. I don't know if the sleeping experience is any better in a roomette. But anyway, I took business class, which had these hard foam leather seats from like the goddamn Don Draper Mad Men era. I think that's where that fucking train was from that era, because the train seats were horrible, and I had to sleep on that shit. I propped my legs up, used my rolly bag as a foot prop kind of thing, and yeah, it was terrible. It's like sleeping on a paint mixer. I actually didn't get any sleep until they stopped in Cincinnati around like 1 o'clock in the morning. They stopped in Cincinnati, and they stopped just long enough for me to slumber and get some sleep. The only main stops are Washington D.C., Cincinnati, like I said. And in between that, they stop in Charleston for about 20 minutes, and that's about it. That's all the plan. And the other ones, I don't know the other ones because I was asleep through them. I think they stop in Indianapolis along the way for like 40 minutes, like around 5 o'clock in the fucking morning. And I don't know, I was asleep. But when I woke up, which wasn't hard to do on a goddamn Amtrak train, when I woke up, we were in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, Illinois, going through, or no, I think we were in Indiana still. We were still in Indiana. And it was like around 9 o'clock in the morning I woke up. And then when we got to Chicago around 11:30 in the morning, or 10:30 in the morning, 10:30 Chicago time, Central Time, and yeah, I went to this place for breakfast. I forget the name of it. It wasn't Lou Malinotti's, but it's that breakfast place that's down the street from Union Station, and I don't know the name of it at the moment. I'll, if I remember, I'll put it in the description below or something. I don't know. But anyway, when you go there, order 1 egg, because when they give you an egg, they actually give you like 3 eggs. I don't know what the fuck that's about, but they give you, when you order 1 egg, they actually give you 3 eggs. I don't understand the fucking point of that. But falling rock. I've never seen that sign before. Okay, I gotta be vigilant along here. I'm driving through a canyon. Gotta watch for falling rocks, apparently. Shit. And, right past the work zone. Can I get back up to 80? I haven't seen a speed limit sign yet. Sorry for the lens flare, everybody. It's the sun. It's not... shit. Yeah, I'm sure you can see me just fine. Oh yeah, I can go up to 70 again. Sweet. Alright. Which means I can actually legally drive 80. Just... Anyway, so yeah, I got to Chicago, and I didn't really like it in May. I'm probably not going to like it this time of year either. I didn't like it in July, the first time I went there. When I went there in July of 2015, I didn't like it. I didn't like it in May of 2016. I'm probably going to hate it this year, you know, because I'm going there in June. It's June right now. I think, what the hell is today's date? June the 12th? Yeah, I think today's the 12th. Yeah, it's the 13th. I don't know. I can't. Oh, let me check my iPod. Yeah, 13th. It's June 13th. Anyway, I'm probably not gonna like it either this time of year. I don't really seem to like Chicago in the hot weather. I like it when it's colder, because even when it's cold, I'm putting up a sweat. You know. When I was like when I was there in November, I took I rented a couple of those divvy bikes to get around faster. I had to take off my overcoat. It was like in the 60s the whole time I was there, so it's like, I didn't even really need to pack my overcoat. But you know, Chicago's kind of an overcoat town, at least in the winter. It's like you can't go to Chicago and not have an overcoat, you know? At least in the winter. Not in summer, obviously. Fuck no. Apparently, it gets really hot in the summer. But yeah, I went there. I did some of the stuff. I wasn't too happy with that trip because I didn't get a whole lot of the Watchdogs thing done. I only got like a few things taken pictures of. It was really a disappointing trip. It was a waste of time. As a matter of fact, I went up to Philadelphia for the first time on my own in the same month, later that month, just to kind of get the taste out of my mouth of how shitty the whole experience was. That time I took the train up, and I took coach, but it was only a 2-hour train ride. It's not that, I mean, if you're going up the East Coast, take the fucking train, what the hell? But if you're going into another time zone, don't take the goddamn train. At least don't take the Cardinal line. You know, I'm still debating whether or not someday if I ever go up to Boston, I don't know if I'm going to drive up there or if I'm just going to take the train up there. I don't know. I was thinking about doing like the same thing I'm doing with Watchdogs, but do it with Fallout 4. Like, you know, compare different places. But I'd have to do Fallout 3 first. Just to be fair, just to be coherent. I don't know if I want to do New Vegas. Someday I guess I would probably fly out to Las Vegas and take pictures of that up there. But I think right now the main objective is I'm going to stop somewhere and take a piss. That's a definite. I'm looking at these roadside signs. Next rest stop I come up to, I'm going to stop. And, yeah, I know, TMI, too much information. I know. It's almost an hour so far I've been recording this video. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna stop everything in an hour. Just record for an hour. Hey, I killed about 80 miles. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. Thanks for letting me chew your ear off for 80 miles. But yeah, I'll get back to the Chicago thing when I'll explain everything late. Not that you want to hear it. You don't fucking want to hear it, but I got to talk about something to somebody. But yeah, my throat's getting dry. I got to take a piss. I'm not going to drink my piss. I'm not Bear Grylls. I'm going to drink a Monster. I'm probably going to cut this part out. Anyway, thanks for watching so far. Part 2 will be later. Peace out.